you really don't need an expensive camera to start in here, in this industry.
You're not the success of your company.
Right.
You're your own person and you're building your company.
I think people don't realize how difficult it is to get into the real estate world. By all means, when you get into this industry, the snowball effect is a chaos.
Growth looks, I saw that,
linear.
not like this, but rather this. Sometimes.
Okay guys, welcome to another episode of Unbox Creativity. We're here of course with our hosts, myself, Fernando, we have Val and Emmanuel, and today we have a great guest. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, so I'm John. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela, and I own two production companies here in Orlando, Florida.
Awesome, that's beautiful. Well, let's hear
Three
from you.
Venezuelans in the room,
Yeah, we got
shout out.
I'm a minority today, we got three Venezuelans. I'm starting to get scared here. No, I love Venezuelans. They're some of my best friends, and I mean, it's just such a rich culture. I'm Brazilian, so there's some commonality there as well. Okay, so my first question to you is actually going to be about your background. And like, I didn't know you were actually from Venezuela. I knew you were Latino, but I want to hear a little bit about that background and then how that transition happened for you as an immigrant to, I mean, did you come to the United States? Is it your parents, or what was that situation like for you?
Sure. So I grew up my entire childhood life in Caracas, Venezuela. I graduated high school. And then, you know, my parents were super supportive of my careers and decisions. And, you know, they were always seeking to the future plans and the best for us and for their kids. And so I have two brothers. I have a twin actually that he's not at all the same thing as me. He is business and a more the creative. He's like more numbers, and we are just opposites of each other. We do not look alike, and have a younger brother that's just in college right now. So I moved in 2015 to study film in Full Sail. My mom had a preschool that she opened. She always loved, you know, kids and preschool, and she actually did that career back in Venezuela. She was a teacher in Venezuela. My dad was an engineer. So we were a very common family in Venezuela, and they were just looking to the future and the best for their kids, you know. So my background and career started when my dad gave me my first camera. It was a Canon 60 with the 24-105. Very, very simple camera. And then, it just started from there. They signed me up for a National Geographic student expedition to San Francisco. So I had the privilege to travel for 2 weeks in San Francisco, explore places and shoot landscapes and edit. So it was a complete expedition where we learned with National Geographic teachers and photographers how to shoot for landscape, how to advertise yourself, how to grow your personal brand, how to build your business, how to edit. And this was early on in my career. And to be honest, I didn't have any clue that what I wanted to do. I just love shooting landscapes. So I thought my career will be involved into shooting landscapes all the time and advertising and shooting for Nat Geo. But throughout my career, it has changed, of course. It transitioned into a beginner landscape photographer to owning two production companies here in the US.
I love that.
I love that.
It's amazing.
And I think
story.
I connect a lot with like the dream of Nat Geo, because I was always thinking like, oh my God, maybe Nat Geo is like, I'll be one day just catching animals. So, but I still do it. I live in my own little Nat Geo.
Right.
I'm always filming on my phone animals, but I do not like got any like connection with that. But that's so cool, because it's funny how we envision something for our lives, and then whatever happens is what really happens. But that first thought just put you through a whole different world, and it's so cool. It's so cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
And I had the privilege that my parents really supported me and the career that I was gearing to, you know.
And that goes a long way, man.
Right.
That support,
Yeah.
that structure of like, okay, like some people let's say, oh, they got their girlfriend pregnant.
Right.
I want to be a filmmaker. Gonna pay the bills, buddy.
And this is not a cheap industry, bro.
And it's not a lot of times it's not fast of gaining money.
Right.
Exactly.
Sometimes people, like, depending on the background of like their personality and stuff, they can connect with more people. You know, if you network, all those little business things that isn't even filmmaking. It's just you being a good networker, you being a businessman, you networking will grow you faster. But yeah, a lot of people that are super passionate about film can go years without even getting the deserved rates they're getting.
Right.
And sometimes people, I mean, most people still work for free. I talk to people with production companies. They still do things for free from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just their passion, and they're fine with it.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I think
next question.
I think aligns very much with what I wrote for you. It's more of like you're now entrepreneur, because like I knew you from having your companies. So I will just ask, like, what kind of challenges have you faced being an entrepreneur and a creative, and how like you put those together?
Good question. I think my mentality shifted from being a videographer or a filmmaker to a business owner when I really started managing people, and that's a challenge. You know, we have a team of close to 35, and not full-time, part-time contractors, plus virtual assistants that help us. And you know, when you manage people, it's really a challenge of making sure they are happy, making sure that their bills are getting paid, making sure that they are on top of their tasks. So I think that challenge and that challenge of being creative and shooting, because I do shoot a lot, and I manage the business a lot too. I'm in the business and shooting, you know, 50% all the time. So that's one of the challenges, managing people and being creative, you know. And sometimes I get into that creative rut where I'm 100% focused on the business, and my creative mind, it's another place, and I'm losing it. So I'm like, fuck, I need to just gear it to my creative mind a little bit, forget about the business side a little bit, and just focus on my creative aspect of things, you know. So that's been a challenge for sure.
Yeah, of course. And you know, well, when you grow as a business owner and also as a creative, you have a style that you also need to like kind of, you know, make sure your crew or your people that you work with maintain kind of thing, but you kind of put that pause first. So I think that's very interesting. And I feel like my next question will roll into, which is like, what are the, because I don't work in that industry really, but I'm more around like advertising, branding, and video production. I get calls and it's like, yeah, let's do real estate. Yeah, let's do it. You know, I can't do anything, but I haven't had like a inner vision of how that industry works. And so what would you say that is one thing that most people don't know about working in that industry, whether it's like pre-production or post-production? What is one thing that people wouldn't guess?
Real quick, because I'm curious, and especially the audience will probably curious, can you tell us about like what your companies are and then what you do? And then you can jump into that question.
Yeah, exactly.
So what people don't know about it.
Definitely. So do you want me to go ahead and to dive into the two companies, or just one into the real estate one, just to follow up with your question, and then we can go with Big Wave Production that does other things.
Yeah.
So let's just do a quick introduction of both companies, because my question goes more into the real estate side.
Okay,
so
cool. Perfect.
A brief introduction of both would be good.
Yeah, so I co-own two businesses, two production companies. One is called Meet JRP, and the other one is Meet Big Wave Productions. And you can follow them in social, and you can search on a web, meetjrp.com and meetbigwave.com. JRP is a full-in agency real estate-wise. We serve photo video services for real estate agents, architects, builders, and developers. We highlight communities, we highlight their projects. You know, we do 3D photogrammetry drone-wise, we do 3D mapping, we do 3D tours, video, photo, pretty much everything that involves into that space, we do it into the real estate, into Big Wave Productions. We serve entertainment industries, we serve conferences, advertising agencies, you know, and we have several clients into that realm and aspect of things.
Cool.
Amazing.
Well, so
Love it.
Thanks.
And so the question she was going with was, what do people not know? I would say let's do the real estate one for now. That goes into it that people don't know about it from the outside.
So really dealing with real estate agents, and I mean in the good way. Real estate agents can be very difficult. At some point, it's some of your typical client, but it's handling and managing people and clients. That's the most difficult thing. And people don't really realize how much work does it gets to be, like the hustle you have to do to find a job, a certain gig for real estate. I early on in my career, I shot for free, like a ton, just to get into the foot of that person, because we're not working for an agency. We're working for an individual that's paying you. So their budget is limited, and their security of paying you as a service, it's more difficult to sell your services to that person. So I think people don't realize how difficult it is to get into the real estate world. By all means, when you get into this industry, the snowball effect is a chaos. It's like once you get one client, to get 3 clients is very easy. And you get 3 clients, 10 clients is very easy. It's just word of mouth. We do not do any advertising. And people really are like, do I need to do advertising? Do I need to spend thousands of dollars in advertising? And I'm like, no, you just have to provide a good service, a good customer service to your clients, and ask for reviews and testimonials, and offer incentives to people, offer them something in return. Like if you refer me to one of your clients, you will get $200 off of your next shoot, right? And that way it gets the ball rolling, and I'm like, okay, well, that client referred me to that person referred me to that person. So I think people need to really visualize how difficult and how the hustle that you have to do to get clients in this industry.
I love that. I think my question goes along with that really well. So how did you first get into real estate? Okay,
cool. So I think, I don't remember actually, but I think my first shoot, I don't know why my mind does it like erased that part of my journey with the real estate. My mom had a friend that was a real estate agent, and she was like, hey, I need photos of the house. And I was using the 24-105. I didn't have the right lens. I didn't have the right equipment. I was shooting with the tripod, like panning with the tripod and tilting, and I'm like doing this super bad job. Of course, it's super cringy when you look it back, but I started that way. My mom had a friend, and that friend needed the photos, and that's how it began. And the other thing is I emailed. I use Zillow, the platform that that there's a platform that all the listings go, and that's Zillow and Realtor.com and Redfin and all that. But I use Zillow to find the contacts of the real estate agents. So I used to email overnight. I spend weeks email them and researching their listings. Hey, XYZ, I saw that you have a video or photos into your listing. I'm an upcoming real estate photographer. Here's my portfolio. I would like to, do this for free for you, no charge. And that started the snowball effect. I started to get gigs. I hired an overseas editor to edit my photos, and when I saw that, I'm like, holy shit! I found the golden egg of real estate media. So I think that's how it started, really.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
snowball.
I can jump into something I always love to ask people of you're successful now, but what is something, because I always like to, when we have these conversations, is people that are starting off, what are they thinking? What are questions that they would have? But for you, how long have you been doing this?
7 years.
7 years. What is one of the biggest mistakes looking back that you've made that someone starting off you would just really recommend they don't make, or things that they can avoid by doing different ways of? So one of the mistakes I always preach and teach and tell other people that are getting into the real estate industry is do not focus on the gear.
Do not buy a $1,000 expensive camera with the lens. Do not invest in the best tripod ever. Do not invest in the best flash ever. Because to be honest, these photos are going into a platform that the photos are going to be compressed as hell. And you really don't need an expensive camera to start in here in this industry. And I spend thousands of dollars and thousands of hours of my time researching what was the best camera for shooting real estate. And the truth is, it's the one you have right now. You used to have to buy a good lens, a 16 millimeter equivalent. You don't have to buy a f2.8. You can buy a f4. Not the most expensive one. You can buy used gear and start that way. I think that was one of my mistakes. Really, really diving and spending money on gear that I really don't need.
Yeah. It's something that I always talk about. I was talking to Sean about that today. It's just like, gear is that one thing that feels so tangible. Right. It's in your hand.
Right.
Oh, look, I spent $10,000 on this camera. Yes. It's in my hand. But let's say you put $10,000 in like finding out how to get sales or finding out, or like advertising or this or that.
That's the
one. You can get 10 more, like the rate of return is way more powerful, especially as long as you have like an industry standard camera.
Right.
$2,000 camera.
Yeah.
The 2 lenses you need, enough batteries.
Right. SD cards.
And then
I feel like there's something special about like being low budget. It's like your creative flow, it goes beyond the limit. You know, it's like you're like, I need to solve this problem. I need to make it look good. What do I do? And it takes a little bit, but then you start making, I love to do art direction, things like that. But no one ever have like a really big budget for you to be like, buy things. And you go like, hey, yeah, I can and stuff. So, but you still can have like a taste and then just look for specific things. And I had like a really cool experience with Fernando's film that I had to just look for little items and be like, okay, I went all the thrifty shops and be like, I'm looking for something. And then I found it, and for like super low budget, and it looked good. It works. So that's cool. But since you stole my question, I'm just gonna... in my face. Let's try to dip into your creative, and I would like to, just know a little bit more of like the things you're into in like your creative world. Like, how do you will put your narratives or things like that? Are you more of like a director or DP? Tell us.
I really was a DP cinematographer, but now my role has been shifted to producer director, creative director. I don't know why. I think it was the entrepreneurial mindset that I had. It shifted. I was a gearhead. I knew every single camera, the latest technology on every single lens and camera, and now I don't know shit. I'm like, so many cameras have been out. I'm like, I lost track of it.
Especially the past 2 years, just all these cameras.
And I think my mindset has switched to producer and creative director. And I always tell myself, if I retire, when I retire, my main goal is to work for Red Bull Creative Media Services, shooting, surfing, skateboarding, snowboarding, all that.
I said it last
stuff.
time, but I'm like the biggest geek of House of Red Bull. Like House of Media Red Bull is being my creative notebook forever, and every time it gets better and better. If you're a creator, if you've never seen that channel, you're crazy, because like they have like such a good films and documentaries and just short, and all the sports is so much good. Like,
so like related to that question and kind of like honing in on that, your other company is a little more about lifestyle. I remember when we met and talked about it a little bit. So do you want to tell us about that other company that you have? Yeah,
so Big Wave, we have a very crazy story about Big Wave. So in 2019, this was back in 2019, I graduated from Full Sail in 2017. I worked as a freelance DP and freelance videographer for several companies as a second shooter, carrying stands, carrying cables. I worked for a summer camp, which I learned so much about shooting and gear and how to treat clients and all that. And then I started working with Brian, my business partner, with Brian Adams Photographics, his company. And it was mainly events and weddings and commercials and conferences. And in 2020, COVID hit, of course, and his business shut down. It was completely gone because of COVID. We were getting a couple of jobs here and there, but with that effect of not meeting any people, that one just went down. So, and actually, JRP, going back to JRP real quick, we landed one of our biggest clients in 2020, and I'm like, Brian, I need your help. And Brian is 25 years into the industry. He's a veteran. He's mostly a producer now, a business developer. So he really helped scale JRP to the next level. And we end up, he ended up killing Brian Adams Photographics, and we recently founded and opened Big Wave Productions. So Big Wave really goes into commercials, advertising, conferences, and if you think about it, we do it pretty much all. We do real estate, lifestyle real estate, luxury media, and then for Big Wave, we attack the entertainment businesses, conferences. So we are in the both a spectrum of pretty much the entire industry, and it works great on our creative mind and business. So we own these two that currently have completely different clienteles, but we really are managing both as a separate entity, So and we love Big Wave, and Big Wave really has a potential to grow exponentially with conferences this year, and we are very excited. We're flying out this Sunday to Dallas to shoot a conference for 4 days. So we're very excited about Big Wave, and I think the future is into technology and AI about all that stuff. So we're trying to incorporate AI and technology into Big Wave little by little, injecting that. We have to, and
that's the next generation,
right? So we're like putting our feet in the water into that.
I love we shot like 6 months ago one of my clients' whole corporate gig, and it was apparently Orlando's becoming the meta center of technology.
Jesus.
So all these people, like Sony, like Facebook, Google, all came to. It was like in Dr. Phillips. And we shot their whole event, and then we're there just like hearing all this technology stuff. I'm like, what the heck?
We were blown away, Like, why? It was like 3D screens with no glasses, and I was like, whoa! And then making content.
So Brian is your business partner for both?
For both, yeah.
Okay.
JRP and Big Wave.
Did you? So JRP, when did it start?
I founded it in 2016.
2016, and then Big Wave is
in 2019.
2019. Okay. So then, did you?
Well, Big Wave was in 2022, sorry.
Okay. So when you were doing JRP, did you, like, how long did you know Brian before you decided to do a partnership? Or did you already do JRP and then you brought him on later?
So I was running JRP by myself, growing it little by little. But of course, I needed more money, I needed more experience. So I traded JRP to, work for Brian and partner with Brian in some shoots, help him as a second shooter, help him as a freelance contractor for him. So it was a true partnership, right? And I treat my people and my guys and my clients as partners instead of a person. You're not a person, you're a partner, you're a friend. I don't treat my clients as clients. I treat it as a partner and friend, and that way we build connections. And I build a true connection with Brian to be really the best business partner I ever had, and he helped me scale the business to the next level, 10x, 100x my business, and not on revenue but profit. You can make $1 million, but your expenses can be $900,000. And I'm like, oh, you just profit $100,000. That's it.
Yeah,
so
that's all you do, yeah.
the most important thing is to learn how to profit into this industry, and he helped me to do that and learned how to do it the right way.
Amazing. Yeah. It's so important,
awesome.
especially
Great.
when you're a business owner.
Right.
Because like a lot of people are
Exactly.
just like creatives or filmmakers or whatever they're doing. Like we know more filmmakers because we're in this world, but then they can spend years without making money.
Right.
But then
Good to have someone with that experience
Yeah.
level, right?
right, and it's fun in college, but then you're like, I gotta pay for rent. Rent's $3,000 this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna pay for my dog's medical bills. What's
Right.
going on?
How do you concentrate in finding the path and make it work out for yourself? Like kind of an advice for a young creative or entrepreneurs really, because like there's not a right time to be like, I want to do my own thing, but it's always all kind of with also the age you're in and the dreams you have. So what would you say to that type of crowd to follow, this career or?
Yeah, so I will definitely do the cliche, what is it? Cliche thing. Just hustle hard and really don't be serious. Don't take it too serious, because sometimes being too serious will backstab you, and just take it slightly, step by step. Don't rush it. Just really concentrate on what you want and really just dive in and full focus into it, Really, focus on your main goal. Don't just chill out. There's time, really. I thought I could, like, I was thinking all the time, I'm losing track, I'm losing time, I'm losing this. I need to do it right now. You can do it right now, but just take it slowly, step by step. Take mistakes, take risks. Do mistakes. You learn by doing mistakes, right? So I did a shit ton of mistakes early on in my career, and I'm so grateful that I did, And, that's it. You just hustle hard.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah.
I want to add on to that because I catch myself doing this sometimes too. But sometimes like you're not the success of your company.
Right.
You're your own person and you're building your company.
Right.
So sometimes for me, like when I'm having a great month, I have a big ego. I'm like, this month's amazing. I'm this guy. I feel sexier. and then like it's a bad month, and I'm like, I'm the worst person in the world. What's going on? So it's like you gotta remember, it's like you yourself, you're a person, and you're building something, and it's not always gonna go this way. It's gonna go
Right. Yeah, exactly.
up and down.
Growth looks, I saw that,
linear.
not like this, but rather
wave,
this.
a little
And I feel
big
it's
wave
so
media.
true.
Look at that.
Sometimes.
My final last question, this is a little quick one.
Yep.
These are always like a little fun questions we like to kind of create on the last one. But if you could, and this is more on the creative side of your businesses, there was a coffee shop and they made a coffee with a name of like the name of what you do and like your personality and what you are. What would that coffee be named?
Shit. That's a really difficult question.
It's not a good question. It's a crazy question.
It is a crazy
Crazy
question.
question.
That's why don't overthink it.
Right.
A coffee that's you, and especially that kind of leans more into your creative side.
Wave Chino.
Web Chino. Drop in the logo here. I'll make it.
What would be in it?
Oh shit.
Red Bull.
Some little wave gummies in there.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Some foam.
Some foam, of course, of waves.
Some blue
Yeah.
dye.
Yeah. Some blue dye. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little matcha.
Right. Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah. Exactly.
No,
Yeah. Your guys are good.
we're a little coffee maker. We have a little cafe con leche right here.
Yeah.
We got to do it to survive. But now, before we end the podcast, feel free to shout out your pages and both your companies as well. Or if you have a personal page, feel free to look at the camera and let them know.
Cool. So,
Get nervous.
yeah, I know. MeetJRP.com is for the real estate media side, and MeetBigWave.com is for the commercial and corporate side of things.
Awesome.
That's it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's a wrap.
it's a wrap, guys.
De Venezuela al mundo.